Okay. Hello, I'm Heather,
I'm Cardyn.
and welcome to the Bitchy Quill, a podcast where we talk about publishing from a feminist perspective. We also do guest mini interviews, and today we have author Danielle Spencer. Hello, how are you?
I am
Welcome,
great.
welcome. I'm
I
gonna
am
move my
great.
little notes over. and and so Cardin's gonna ask you the first question to kick us off.
Yeah. So, hello again, Danielle. How did we meet you?
I met you guys at the 2023 book festival, Women's Book Festival.
Mhm.
And I almost say that was my first time meeting you guys. It was one of the first festivals that I did. So
Oh,
um,
okay,
that's how we
awesome.
met.
It feels
Because
like
had
I've known you longer.
because is was that the year that Digital Assassins came out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That my first book, my first foray into being an author. And I think you guys were the second book festival. I did one in Fredericksburg,
Yeah.
Virginia, but it was the second festival I did, like
Yeah.
second event. So I was still really, really
Wonderful.
new.
Yeah.
We've met so many cool authors
Mhm.
through the book festival. If nothing else, I like there. We've gotten a lot of great things out of the book festival, but if nothing else, we've met so many amazing authors, talented, gifted, smart, funny, interesting people. So, and low drama. Our event is very low drama. I think because it is all women. So I think that might be part of it. Um, uh, I'm going to ask you the question that I ask almost every author that I do an interview with, because as a reader and as an author myself, it's the question I like to ask. And I think a lot of readers want to know this question, the answer to this question too, which is what made you become a writer? Or what made you want to be a writer?
It was my experience as being a whistleblower against the federal government. Um, I tell people, because I do get asked that question often, I am not an artist. I'm really not a writer. I'm more of a STEM person. I'm very, very analytical. I've always had appreciation for the arts, especially reading, grew up, making sure I read, but I wasn't getting the results that I wanted, going through court, working through Congress. And so I thought the next best way to get my story out and try to educate people about how data and technology can be misused was to write the books on my experience. So that is what inspired me to become a writer.
Okay, awesome. I know that you have been through some things and that you wanted to put that out there to help other people.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was why I did it. And it's been an interesting journey, but I'm learning, I won't say the career field about the business, about being an author, completely different than what I ever imagined. Um, but it's been fulfilling.
Do you feel like this book and this experience as a whistleblower has influenced your online habits?
No, not in made me like more secure. I was already that way.
Mhm.
It's made me be a lot more open. Like
Mm,
before 2023, I didn't do any social media,
mm,
none, none of it. So being an author made me have to learn. I'm still learning social media, actually do videos and put them out there. Prior to that, I did none of that. I had no digital footprint at all.
Mm.
So it was a lot, I want to say opposite than other people where this experience might have made them uh, be more careful about what they
Yeah.
said and all of
Right.
that.
Right.
Mine, I had to be completely opposite because I was kind of like Sandra Bullock in that movie, The Net, where
Yes.
no one knew anything about her because she was so isolated and secluded. I was a lot like her.
Yeah.
And that was not good because if something really tragic had happened to me, it would really only like my immediate family really know.
Right. Right.
So that was the bad part of really not having any type of digital footprint.
Having a digital footprint in a way proves your existence.
Yes.
That's why sometimes when we don't see a celebrity or some political figures or something for a while, we might go, why are we not seeing this person? What is going on? And that's a good example of that.
Yes.
And then, so to tie into that, oftentimes, especially in the publishing world, an author might actually, post, "Hey, I'm taking a break. I need some space. I'm okay, but I just need some downtime or whatnot." Whereas maybe that's more generational because, prior to, you know, the internet world,
Hmm.
people disappeared all the time because you didn't call them, you didn't see them, whatever, and then you cross paths with them. And now it's more declarative, like, hey, you've been, I post daily, weekly, monthly, or whatnot, and then I'm going away, I'm going offline, and like, be
Right.
back soon or whatnot.
Watch for me.
So, Daniel, let me ask you this, because you talk about your STEM background and not so much, being artistic or being an author initially. Were there books or authors that you kind of looked to for some guidance? Like, how did you make that transition? I know you felt like what you were doing through the court system and testifying and kind of the official channels, you felt like you weren't getting the traction or the results in a timely manner. So, kind of, what were some of your initial steps to making that transition? Like, okay, I think I'm going to write and publish. Like, how did you approach that?
I'll say there are two authors that I definitely can remember reading all the time growing up.
Mhm.
Danielle Steele and Mary Higgins Clark, especially Mary Higgins Clark. She was more a mystery
Yeah,
thriller writer.
yeah.
I also read a lot of, I want to say, Regency
Mhm.
books, but I cannot remember the names of
That's
the
okay.
author.
We got your genre.
But definitely, I would say probably Mary Higgins Clark, because
Mhm.
uh, my experiences were so unreal,
Mhm.
that if I hadn't gone through them, I wouldn't believe it.
Right.
So I didn't have to draw that much on any type of storytelling. I
Mm,
basically just had to recount exactly what happened to
mm.
me. Um, so that was, I don't want to say it made it easier,
Right.
because I didn't have to have any type of imagination
Right, right,
to sell it. It was
right.
just documenting that. But
Yeah,
if I had to say having some type of suspense, that it would
yeah,
have to be Mary Higgins Clark.
yeah. Mm.
um, so what is, if you, okay, I'm really curious about what you think people, if somebody were to pick up your book, what do you think is the main message they would be getting from it?
The main message would be that we need to be vigilant all the time. We're in a completely different era, and it's going to change uh, a year or two or not, especially with AI, the technology getting more advanced. I think, and I'll say I was one of those people who this impacted too. You tend to think that some of the struggles that we overcame 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or even 60 years ago, that they're now, no, like we've overcome that. We don't have to deal with that anymore. That's no. There's
I think
always
the
going to be,
past 7 months of eight, however
yes.
many freaking months it's been, has proven that is
The
true.
people
And it
that
was,
want to roll us
You
back
could
to the
you
1800s.
could have not said a truer thing at this moment in time, and I think that um speaking of data security and that kind of thing, we're in a whole new era with
mhm,
certain organizations within our own government crossing information. They hadn't ever done that before. Like since you've written your book, there are data streams and things happening that are now crossing each other and being given in the hands of other people that
yep.
previously had firewalls between them and safeguards between them that do not exist. And I think that the AI is a very good point. That is something that we're seeing deep fakes. And, you know, I just
Yeah.
saw a video the other day, a woman, it was on a news story, and it was a clip of a woman who was talking about her mother who had been duped out of, I want to say it was 81-ish thousand dollars
Mhm.
from a guy who she thought it was this soap opera star who was in love with her and had told her that he needed money, and she just kept giving him money. But it was a deep fake. It looked like the actor, it sounded like the actor, and built this lady out at 80 whatever it was $1,000. And I think that your book is like that was at the, you know, this is how it's happening now, and then now we have this future of how it's happening that we have to think about and talk about. Are you thinking of writing another book, or is this just going to be your experience of your whistleblower experience, or are you going to write a book about future concerns or anything like that?
Um, no, I won't write a future book. I think what I'm moving, like I said, I'm not that type of artistic person.
Because did you do the one fiction and then two nonfiction books?
I did the 3 fiction
Okay.
and the one nonfiction that
Okay, I
talks
got it
about
reversed.
like the
Sorry
way,
about that.
oh, that's fine. Um, but I would say my kind of currently what I'm working on is trying to make the books script ready for TV or
Oh,
some other type
wow.
of visual media,
Yes.
but also trying to do different educational events because it's easy. I can say kind of what I went through
Yes.
and kind of talk about, like you said, the example of how it can impact us in the future. But it's more of I want to say like an education to try to, especially for younger people. I
Mhm.
am, you know, I'll go to different events and I'll tell if I see young women, young people of color, to really
Yeah.
try to get them into the field, to
Yeah.
try to understand. They just think, well, AI can do this, and I said, it can do that.
Right.
But what we need are people on the other side that are good actors who can think like the negative Nellies and say,
Yes.
this is all the good it can do, but what is the harm that it can
Yes.
do? And how do we mitigate that harm? How do
Yeah.
we once we know the bad things like deep fakes,
Yeah.
how can we tell the difference? How
Mm.
can we tell when videos have been altered or when videos have been created? How is now one of the things where you get people who'll call you spam, and what they're trying to do is to get your voice and
Mhm.
take your voice, and they can use your voice to call family members and pretend that it's you to get their
Yes.
money. There's all these different things that can be done,
Yeah.
but we need good actors to be able to think of the ways that technology can be misused,
Yeah.
and what type of laws do we need to put in the books, what type of way can we counter that, and how do we keep educating the public about
Right.
how things can be misused. And it's not what people like to say, it's not a one and done deal. This
Right.
is going to be consistent for really till the end of time, because
Yeah.
people always gonna try to get over one way or
Yes.
the other.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we have to change the way that we think that, you know, once we address something, that's it. No, you have to always be thinking about what's next, and not just for what's good, because you have the researchers out there that think about how to use it for good. You have to have those same group, another group of people. Well, yeah, it's good, but how can it be misused, and how are we going to mitigate those misuses?
Yeah.
We're very quickly seeing AI, generative AI, being normalized. For example, let me just give you one quick example. On TikTok, there is this app that there's this filter. I'm not sure. I didn't download it because I try not to do too many where it takes your image and it makes another image. But it's you now talking to young you, and you're like, the young you is asking you a question. Did we marry so and so? Did we ever go into firefighting? Like, you know, the young you's asking the now you questions, but it's creepy because clearly they've had to scan your imagery, turn it into your voice and make it you younger. And I'm like, this seems like something I don't want a app getting a, you know, like a filter getting a hold of. So like we do this all the time. we're wearing makeup filters and things like that, where these things are just so normalized now. But something that takes you now and puts you in a deep fake situation, you're like putting yourself in a deep fake, seems like it's just normalized now. Like we just do it. And I think that we do need good actors who can say, if we're going to do filters like this, then we need to have certain rules about it, certain laws based on it. Like only you can use it. That company cannot sell your voice and your likeness to another entity. They can't use it for nefarious purposes, those kinds of things. So,
But legislation, Danielle, you know this better than I do. Legislation is always behind innovation.
big time.
And that's, I don't want to say it's fine, but that's kind of how it works. And we kind of know
Yeah.
it's okay for that legislation to be behind, but someone needs to be thinking about it. The more important part is putting the policy in place for the companies, the different companies that do it, having the technology in place. So what if a company is collecting all these people's voices and their data? What if they get hacked? Most companies are not so forthwilling to come out there and say, hey, something happened to us.
Yeah.
But we need like the good actors that can do all of those other like fields of
Yeah.
study to help us stay safe while we're waiting for the legislative part. And
Right.
some of the stuff, federal, that takes forever. But we can do a lot of things at the local and the state level so that our citizens of our state are protected. Now, if other states don't want to protect their state, citizens,
Right.
that's fine. That's up to them. That's their problem.
Right.
But for our state where we live, we're going to kind of push to get these things done so that we're protected.
Awesome.
Well, I was just going to say, so you were saying that another book is not likely in your future, but you have for intellectual property, you're developing for either movies or television or things like that. That's really exciting. Now, are you working on teleplays and screenplays yourself, or do you have a team or a partner, or you're not that far yet?
I won't say I'm not that far yet. I've just started the research.
Gotcha.
What would this entail? How would you do that?
Yeah.
I will say, like some of the feedback I've gotten a little bit more is that this really should be more of a movie or television series so that people can actually see what it looks like to have illegal surveillance. He's like, you have some of that, or to have the government manipulating data or
Yeah.
falsifying documents.
Yes.
We need to actually see, we love to see how that actually looks.
Yeah.
Or especially for people who are not necessarily readers, they like to watch everything on television
Yeah.
or in or Netflix or whatever.
Yes. 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 No, that's fantastic. Heather, did I stomp on your last question?
No, you're the next question about the best way readers can
Okay.
support.
Excellent. So, well, we know that authors, number one, we always want readers to buy our books and review them. Aside from that, are there one or two things that you often think, oh, if only potential readers would XYZ, or if only people who had already bought and read my book would do this or that? Like, do you need them to follow your blog or follow you on socials? Like, what kinds of things are you like, oh, this would really help me?
I would say for me, purchasing the books is one thing. What I try to encourage are people to support three different type of organizations. Um, Social justice. So if you find a social justice, or if you can afford to multiple, support them, because they're like one of the main organizations that are going to kind of help us with this fight to for our privacy and data security. Other thing, there's some privacy organizations. I know there's one that's affiliated with Georgetown University. Support them because they do a lot to try to fight to make sure that our privacy is kept, and that trying to make it a constitutional right
Yes.
for us to have privacy. And the last would be other type of labor organizations, like unions or other type of, and that to me is more so because having that protection for our labor force enables us to be able to have the jobs, to be able to support the other things. But the labor unions, which I think a lot of people are trying to see now, how important labor unions are, so that we're not just mistreated by our employers.
Yes.
Because that's going to be, like, in my mind, they're already doing it. But I foresee using technology and data to mistreat or
Yes.
to like
Exploit.
the labor force.
Yes.
So supporting those groups would help a lot, like, and help what kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yes.
I kind of work with each one of those groups to try to, hey, this is kind of what we need to do next, or this is kind of the, well, how can I help? But supporting those groups will really support us as a citizenry of this country. That's what I believe.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Thank you for that. I will get the links of your favorites and put them in the description for the episode so that people can support those efforts if they're able to. And also put your Instagram and other things like that. So anybody, if you would like to buy Danielle's book, please go seek that out and support her that way. And leave a review and request it at the library, request it at your local bookstores. It's a really important topic, and it is not going to change. I mean, this is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not something that's fading away. So it's an important topic, and I'll put the info down below. And Cardyn's going to take us on out.
Thank you for joining us on the Bitchy Quill. Please look for more episodes where we discuss publishing from a feminist perspective and our guest minisodes here on YouTube. If you'd like to be a guest on the Bitchy Quill, please email us at therightwomenbookfest@gmail.com. Info will be below in the episode information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Danielle. We're so happy to have you today.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.